I noticed the more stressed I got, the more I'm like, dude, bro, shoot, man, god damn. Your boy's starting to have the McDonald's logo on his forehead now, you know? Call me a 6-head, ain't even a 5-head. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 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 yeah. So this is going to be episode 3 of Broke the Habit podcast. And today's topic is going to be my biggest insecurity, or my second or first. But anyways, before I jump into this episode, I'm going to appreciate all of you guys, as I'm going to be releasing this video or podcast on Valentine's Day. So happy Single Awareness Day to all my people out there, as well as for all you lovely couples. I am so envious of you. So before I even get into it, I really want to have you guys be in this video just as much as I am, because that's one of the benefits of being a smaller channel, is I get to talk to you guys. So let's go into the comments of the first Potter and go over some of the comments here. Jaren says, I've been watching you since I'm 14. Now I'm 18 years old now. That is, yeah, sometimes still amazes me how long people have been watching me. Fix It on the Way says, I can't remember how long I've been watching, but it's very much about daily vlogging, life in general, while lean into the shadows, and going into more about being realistic about yourself. Thanks for watching Fix It on the Way. Crow says, having you watch your channel for some time, I like how you express yourself. Last video made me giggle. Admire your human facets that make you unique. The visual aspect is kept also changing, as well as I'm trying to change and grow as a videographer as well. You will be missed if my content disappeared. I ain't going anywhere, I hope. Rose Leah says, if you quit, can I have your channel? Hell no, honey. Hell no. Savannah, the OG, as you can see here with the little badge, for 5 years. Hey there, I've been watching you since you first started, man. That's the OG. Shoutouts to Savannah. I subbed to your channel since you had about 1,000 subscribers or so. It's been a while. I don't remember. Your videos have matured so much. I love the aesthetic. Keep it up. And Edit, I'm excited to see the new content, mostly about the mental health and dating life. Trust me, girl, dating is so hard, especially during a pandemic. Like, how the hell do y'all date, man? How the hell does that even happen? Nelson Franco says, bro, fuck what they think. You just gotta do you, straight up. And I appreciate all of you other guys that have definitely commented as well. Shoutouts to Andy, Nail, Miguel. Shout out all you guys for commentating. And if you want to talk to me and feature it in the next Potter, let me know in the description below in the comments. I'll definitely reply and read them. And I want to talk about, my biggest insecurity that I've been dealing with lately. And if you haven't seen my other videos where I talked about how I was short, that was one of the biggest, I guess, mindsets that I need to go from, is that I had a lot of insecurities, man. Like, being short is tough, and no one really talks about this. You get rejected because I remember an incident where I had a crush on a girl. She's like a head taller than me. Maybe she's 5'7", 5'8". And I heard around the block back then, because you're too scared to actually go up to the girl and be like, hey, do you like me? So you ask her friend, you're like, hey, do you know if this girl likes me? And she says to the friend that she's, oh yeah, I think Peter's really cute. I'm like, oh, damn, okay, maybe I got to start making my moves over here. So I eventually go talk to her, and I get rejected. And she didn't tell me directly to my face, but I asked through the friend why, is that, yeah, Peter's really cute, but he's too short for me. And I literally dropped dead. Well, not literally, but in my heart, I dropped freaking dead. And being short is definitely a struggle, right? You have insecurities of like how social media and how everything's like, oh, I want a man that's 6 foot. And especially in the world of online dating, some girls out there, man, it's like, talk about like fat shaming, talk about height shaming, man. It's like if you're only, please message me if you're only 6 feet. I'm like, get the out of here, what the? But as a short man, it's something that you have to deal with. Like, growing up short, man, I remember I hit puberty and I was finally everyone's height in the 8th grade, right? 14, 15. Everybody was my height. And then everyone else hit puberty. I was like, oh shit, man, I'm screwed. And then everyone grew up to like 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", and I'm like, man, what the hell? And even from that get-go, you get bullied for being short, right? People physically look down on you and emotionally look down on you already before you even meet them. And you get comments like, "Oh, you're cute, but you look like my little brother, right? Oh, you're just so adorable." And it's like girls want to feel protected, and like I get from that sense, but it's like you judge someone before you even meet them, and you're like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely not my type because he's too short." And it's like people shit on guys for like, "Oh, I won't date her if she's a plus size girl, XYZ." But it's like short guys have it hard too, you know? We have it just as hard. There's definitely both ends of the spectrum where, heightism, all that ish. But if you actually look into it, why do I care about my insecurities and my shortness is that I also talked about this guy. I don't know if y'all can see, but your boy's hairline is starting to recede, and I made videos this years ago because I saw it coming. People are always like, "Peter, you ain't balding, man. Like, you ain't like, you got tons of hair." Your boy's starting to have the McDonald's logo on his forehead now, you know? Call me a 6 head, ain't even a 5 head, you feel me? And still people are like, "Yeah, you can grow it out." And yes, I have. But one of the main reasons I decided to shave my head was just to embrace the fact that your boy's losing his hair and it's in my family genetics lines. Here's a picture of my uncle here, and he's fully bald. And if you're listening on the podcast, he is fully bald, man. So is my cousin. And especially during last year of 2020, your boy started to go really thin upstairs. So I'm getting DP'd by life right now through my head, right? You got the receding hairline right here, and I'm also thinning on the top of the crown. Because how I know for all your fellas out there that are balding is you want to reach your head right here, feel that, and feel the back thickness on the back of your head. And it's pretty much night and day. Super thin up here and really thick up here. And my head used to be really thick. I remember spending so much time, in school picture days when I was in elementary school, like 10, 11, and be like gelling my hair. I had a lot of pride in my hair. And I remember having all sorts of hairstyles, right? I had the man bun, I had the gel spiky hair, I had my blonde bangs, I had the whole shebang, you feel me? But as I start to realize and looking in the mirror every single day, I'll be like, "Oh shoot, it's going up. I gotta draw a line here." You know when you're short and you're like a kid and grow up, your parents mark the height of how you grow up taller? Well, I did that with my freaking hairline. And I noticed the more stressed I got, the more I'm like, dude, bro, shoot, man, god damn it. And as you go through that stage of like, "Oh no, man, life sucks now," you victimize yourself like, "I'm already short. What's worse can happen?" You go bald. And you try everything. You try the shampoos, you try the XY certain over-the-counter drugs. You go to the "Hey doctor, can you help me? I need this type of help me with this, man. I have too much DHT," and you figure out like what's the right drug and all. And eventually I just gave up trying all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going natural and just embrace it because that's my way of how I deal with me losing my hair. And it's eventually going to happen. I don't know how much longer. I can probably hold it till like 30-ish, I hope. But at the point now where I shaved my head before, the whole point of doing that video is that I'm getting used to my balding look because I don't really have much of an option going forward. So if you actually break down why it is guys deal with balding and how it is, why is it that I don't give a shit about what a guy thinks that I'm balding, but I give so much shits if a girl thinks I'm balding? Or if you swing the other way, why do I feel so shitty about the opposite sex or the same sex that I'm attracted to that I'm balding? And ultimately, you break it down, it's shame, it's fear, it's not feeling good enough so you can eventually get a partner, right? It's your approval for a potential mate. And I always had this feeling of needing approval from someone. And I remember in high school that I was like a loser, a loner, didn't have much friends. I still don't, let me know in my DMs, say hi, it gets lonely sometimes. And I remember always wanting to date the popular girl, the cool girl. And I always wanted to get that girl's validation. I want to get their attention. And if they didn't accept me, I felt like I wasn't good as a person. That's how I broke it down. And just talking about the mindset of my hair was everything, right? I didn't think it was going to go until I thought it went. And within the whole mindset of me looking in the mirror, 24, 25, the more stress I was going through, the more, things that I went through, especially last year and going through a bad breakup, the more stress it affects is genetics. Why people bald is genetics, as well as stress factors and whether or not you're getting enough sleep. So to break it down, I'm going to be 29 this year, and it's a point where I've decided just to keep it short. And I also have some couple tips for you, but fun fact, not to scare all you guys out there, is 70% of men will suffer some form of hair loss by when they're 40. And just to scare you even more, 85% of guys will start balding or have some form of balding by the time they reach 50, right? So if you ain't balding now, you can be balding in the future. Unless you're that 1% that is freakishly lucky, then you're tall and you're handsome and you have full head of hair. Damn it. So how I dealt with me eventually losing my hair and just like accepting who I am, it comes down to the first sign of mortality. And being bald and losing your hair is a weird sign that it's a thing of like nothing lasts forever, right? This is the first time oh my God, my body's actually dying. Yes, who knows? I can live until XYZ, but it's your first sign of that your body is starting to break down. And once you reach 25, it's like your body doesn't heal as fast when you drink anymore. Or, oh, you work out and you're like, oh man, I'm a little sore than I'm not healing as I used to be. And the body is programmed like that. Like once you reach 30, it's like you passed your prime and your body isn't as in prime condition anymore. And you kind of realize that looks, people, vanity, your money, your status of who you are as a person will come and go. Especially looks, right? It doesn't matter how much Botox you put, how much implants you have, how much you can do surgery and like tattoo your hairline and all that. But eventually things will come and go. Things will fade. And the only thing that doesn't come and go is your soul, right? And all that I realize is that when I see someone that's not the most friendliest person out in the real world, whether it's driving or going to the gym, it's like deep down inside, that person is still a little kid, right? And that's one thing that doesn't change is here, unless you make it change, is your soul or your heart. And looks come and go, but having a good soul and working yourself is something that always stays, and that's a good and bad thing. And it's another reason being short and bald or going balding is that I have another reason to filter people out. It made me see that real people will see me beyond just my looks, right? Just the fact that I'm losing my hair, just the fact that I'm short, that people are going to cut me out or not want to date me or get to know me. They're not the people that I want to be around in the first place, right? As well as, if I wanted a partner, I wanted a partner who, or a friend who just accepts me for me, not because of the vanity, just because of the way I look, just because I have XYZ. I wanted someone to get to know me and my personality. And going through so much shit in my life, the older I realize, yes, it's an insecurity, but I have better things to worry about, like my own life and my own problems. And I'd be damned if I give 2 seconds on what someone else thinks of how I look. All guys deal with balding in different ways, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to self-confidence. It comes that as long as you think you're a good human being, you know you're good looking, you might not be like a Brad Pitt or whatever, but you know that you're an okay person, and all that matters is your own self-worth. And the more worth you have within yourself, self-care, taking care of yourself and loving yourself, not that self-development, all that bull crap hustle porn, but I'm talking about, right here, your heart. And the more love that you have for yourself, the less noisier it gets out in the real world. And this external validation for me, it comes from mommy and daddy issues, and how I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate is that if they didn't give you love enough as a kid growing up, you're constantly going to seek their attention and approval, and that's going to also link into your love life. And the more you learn to reparent yourself, the more you learn to be like, wait a minute. We live in a world where there's so much noise now, so much social media, so much constant judgment and opinions. But I have a special place right here, in here, that no one can touch. People can torture me. They can do anything they want, say hateful things. But down here, I can control this. No one can have access to this. That inside is your soul, your self-worth. And why is it that you're going to let someone else dictate how you feel, whether that's in a potential partner or, just people in general, when you yourself have the ultimate control in here, man. It's all in here. And once you understand that unlock, you might not realize it now, but 5 years, 10 years, you realize that nothing matters except for your own thoughts and opinions. And if you don't create a world in here that is good enough for you, you will never be good enough, and you'll always be constantly seeking approval from others. And that's the thing about whether that's you're losing your hair, you think your boobs are too small, you think that, you have blemishes on your face. At the end of the day, all it comes down to is that you are enough, and someone inside someone in your world, whether it's your family, your friends, planted that insecurity inside of you, and you keep telling yourself that story now. At the end of the day, it's true, man. You are enough. And we're not born out of the womb being like, I'm insecure. We're all born out of the womb, this pure, innocent blanket. And because of the world that we go through, and we get rejected by someone, someone tells us a story about they're not good enough, then you start to believe it. But you can change that story that you have inside of you. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen within the past couple potters, right? Is that, Peter, something's changed about you, man. You seem a lot more natural on camera now. You seem a lot more sure of what you want to do and all. Because I took some time off to realize and work on myself. And self-love and self-care is something that, you don't really learn, especially being an Asian male in the society. You don't take time to actually sit down with yourself and sit down with your thoughts and believe, what is that feeling? Because the reality is, I realized I had a lager. I couldn't use a honey lager right now, but you realize I had a lot of anger within me. But underneath anger, it's feelings of shame, embarrassment, not feeling that like I'm good enough, being around the wrong people, toxicity in my life, and going through a breakup, feeling abandoned. It made me realize that the only person I could turn to was myself. Right? And that's the same thing with balding, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm losing my hair. I could beat myself up for like being short, no one really wanting me, especially online now. If y'all want to make me an episode specifically on online dating and my trials and tribulations on that, let me know in the comments below of this podcast, this YouTube video and Spotify. It's available on Google Podcasts as well. We're moving towards a world where everything is like vanity now, right? Before I even get to know you online, you already see a profile of me and you decide left or right to swipe because I don't have hair. Because it says 5'4" instead of 6'4", And that's an interesting world we live by now. And how I combat that as a short Asian male that's losing hair, you think, oh man, I'm getting screwed over by life. But it's like, the older I get now, the more confidence I have in myself is going up. And it comes along the territory of going through so much shit in life. And you realize that the older you get, the less shits you give about other people and the more you care about yourself. Facts on that. And if you go through all my channel and all my videos, I wasn't sure of who I was yet, but I did know that I wanted to make videos. I do know that I enjoy talking to people on the internet so I can connect with my own vulnerabilities and my insecurities, so I can talk through life and self-development in a way that pertains to me. And I know that I always knew that there's other people out there in the internet that feel or think the way that I think, even though I felt for most of my life alone. And it's the beauty of the internet. Yes, there is the vanity. Yes, there is, the approval of other people on this. But I know that cheesy quote, whenever I look out into the ocean or the starry night, I'm like, is there someone out there in the world that's my lover, my partner, or a subscriber that's thinking the exact same way that I think? When will someone just love me for me? When will someone just accept me for me? And it comes down to putting yourself out there, not self-isolating yourself, unless you have any sort of pre-existing COVID conditions, then you might want to self-isolate. But when it comes to being bald and accepting it, all it comes down to accepting it and shaving your head. And for me, that's how I'm dealing with it. And you realize I'm starting to love myself. And I want a partner that loves me just for me, right? Not because of my looks. Because if you focus so much on your looks, you're going to attract a certain type of person in your life. But once the look goes away, once the money goes away, are they going to still love you for you, right? And overall, just like I said, it comes down to you are enough, man. You are enough. And it took me a long time to realize that. I'm always trying to chase after the popular girl in high school. It comes down to me constantly trying to be like, why do I like the chase, but the chase got addicting because that's what I knew. But if I sat down with myself and look at the feelings that I'm running away from, it's like you don't need the approval of anyone when it comes to dating, right? The more you love yourself, the more likely you are to find someone along your journey, man. And yes, balding sucks. Yes, you're gonna mourn for it because you lose your hair. It's something that you've put yourself in attachment, right? You grow an attachment to that, right? Of who you are. But you realize that everything comes and goes. Put that to principle, put that to work. You lose your hair, you lose friends, you lose money, right? But your soul will never change. You'll always have your soul. You'll always have yourself. And it's getting very spiritual up in here, but I enjoy these talks. I enjoy the fact that life will constantly keep challenging me, and it's something that's made me better, right? Every time I got rejected and heartbroken by a girl, or oh, I'm not gonna date you because you're cute but you're short, XYZ, back then destroyed me. But looking back, it's like I'm glad, and I wouldn't change shoes with anybody because the exact circumstances made me who I am today, right? And to solve your balding issues, yes, you can get temporary fixes. Like, there's like transplants now, there's like hair pigmentations I looked into, tattooing, all these oils. But, for me, it's going through the hassle. I have to worry about my own life now, and that takes much more priority than my looks. And just for, if you watch this far, there are some couple things of how you deal with balding, how you bald decently, is that you don't want to have cover ups. You don't want to do like nasty comb overs and like look like Donald Trump. But you want to do things like keeping your sides short. As you can see, I gave myself a little skin fade. It's a 0 to 2 on top. And you want to keep it short and have any accessorize your face. Maybe grow a little bit of facial hair. Have glasses so it pulls away the people's eyes from the top of your six head. As well as, yeah, you could go through the hat phase. I'm going through a hat phase as well. I actually like wearing hats. But at the end of the day, man, my head is a weapon of mass destruction. And I'm starting to love this head. And the more head, well, I actually no, I'm not gonna make that joke. But balding sucks, but life is beautiful. You are enough, and you just gotta accept yourself. And I think that's the moral of anything in life. You can lose an arm, X, Y, Z, but you can always be angry at the world, or you can start to understand the world. And if you like this Potter, let me know what you think of it in the description below. This podcast is also available on Spotify and Google Podcasts as well as Anchor. Follow me on Instagram at brokethehabit. My name is Peter, 28 going 29, balding short, and just trying to live my life and trying to be the most real person I can. And I appreciate every single one of y'all that watch this, hate me, love me, let me know. And what more content do you want to see? Drop a comment. I will definitely read it, and you will be featured in the next Potter. You're watching Broke the Habit, and this is me breaking my own habits. I still gotta come out with a damn freaking cooler punchline, but yeah. Cheers, guys.